Manny Navarro from The Athletic. Make sure you subscribe to That Athletic and follow Manny on Twitter at Manny_Navarro. So, Manny, it's only been a day and a half, and you're already impressed by De'Aaron King.
Yeah, he looks really good when they do the 11-11 work, 7-on-7 work. I mean, just his throws, not only are they on target, but they're just crisp. Like, he doesn't make many mistakes in terms of reading defenses, and he knows where to put the ball on guys. So I know he's little. He's only about 5'10", but in terms of what I've seen after a day and a half, looks like a guy who clearly is a fifth-year senior and has experience playing the quarterback position.
And you have plenty of experience watching bad quarterbacks. So, you know, I guess this is a good way for you to measure it, right?
There is. I've been doing this a long time, man. And, you know, when Tate Martell was throwing the football last year, people were asking me about him. I kept telling everybody, it doesn't look good, man.
No.
And I thought I was right on that one, and this one I'm telling you, it looks good. So.
All right. So, and where is he with the offense? Because he's got to be in the infancy stages from all of this, or how much what Rhett runs is familiar to him. It's just maybe the terminology that he's got to adjust to. What's the story behind the scenes?
Well, I mean, really, De'Aaron King played in the same exact offense that Kendall Briles ran at Houston when he was the offensive coordinator there, and when he had his prolific season there, where he went nuts as a junior a couple years ago. So, you know, really, I think in terms of understanding the offense, understanding what Lashley wants him to do, he's very comfortable with it. I don't think there's going to be very much of an adjustment period at all. I think it's more so for the offensive linemen who now have to get up, hustle to the line of scrimmage, and get ready for the next snap, and to the receivers to run their routes, get back to the line of scrimmage quickly, and get up and get ready to snap the ball again. I think those are the guys that are all sort of making the adjustments. The defense as well. I mean, those guys might have faced that in the game, but to face it every day in practice, I think it's certainly going to help those kids in terms of when they face similar offenses that play that no-huddle style, to see it constantly in practice, to have to play against that style every single day. It's going to help those defensive guys, I think, get in better shape and think quicker and react quicker to what they're seeing.
Manny, apparently Lashley is a ball buster, huh? He's one of those guys that doesn't take a lot of crap out there.
No, and I don't know if it's just like one of these SEC things, because I've been around this program a long time, and I've seen different coordinators come and go. Some guys are just quiet, and they don't show a whole lot of emotion. But these last two guys, Danny Enos and Lashley, are very vocal, very loud, very in your face, if you will. And you know, I know it didn't work out with Danny Enos, and it's kind of what I wrote about in my story today for The Athletic. You know, Dan, they came in with the right intentions, and he quickly learned that you know, these millennials, at least the ones here in Miami, they're pretty soft, and the relationship with him and Jared Williams obviously fell apart, and that's why he's gone, and that's why Jared Williams is gone. I think Rhett Lashley, he's 15 years younger than Dan Enos. He's 36 years old. He understands how these kids have to be coached. He's certainly, I think, a little bit more relatable to them. And I think right off the bat, he's sort of setting the expectations of, hey, I'm going to be on you even when you're doing drills. If you can't hit the spot on a go route with, you know, against air, and you're going to be making mistakes when we're just doing that, then I'm going to get on your ass. And I think, you know, I think the kids, as long as it comes from a loving place, man, and I think it does, I think he's going to be a hit with these kids. And so far, it sounds like, you know, Mike Harley, who's a senior, talked about it yesterday. He's like one of us, you know. So when they hear him yell and scream and bark, it's not like it's coming from Dan Enos, where I think a lot of those guys by season's end have tuned him out. I think right now, these first couple months, this honeymoon period, he's coming across to them like somebody that they respect and that they want to listen to. So hopefully he keeps it up. But to me, that's the key. I mean, you know, we've talked about it in the past on your show. Some of these guys are mental midgets, and that's ultimately why Miami season went off the rails last year. I think some of these kids are just mental midgets. Rhett Lashley has simplified the offense. He's making them play faster. He's got a fifth-year senior quarterback who is a no-nonsense type of kid whose father just died and is totally focused on taking care of his family. So he's much different from Darren Williams. And then the system that they're playing in, I think, is easier for them to grasp. So I think you're going to have positive results with Rhett Lashley and the way he's doing things.
Now, and we're talking with Manny Navarro, of course. We do it every week here on our Caneswear Miami Hurricanes report, and go to 2511 South University Drive in Davie, baby. Get all your Canes gear there. Inter Miami, Miami Heat, Miami Dolphins, Miami Marlins, Florida Panthers, all kinds of stuff. Now, I kind of know the answer because the kid's only here for a year, so I don't think it's going to be a big deal. But I'm just wondering, Tyler Van Dyke, we kind of were hyping him ourselves, and we were kind of looking for him to maybe be that guy that steps up this year. Tyler now will have to wait a year. Is that an issue at all for Tyler? Because you were just talking about millennials. I just want to make sure this millennial will be all right hanging out for another year before he has an opportunity to really take over, if he can even take over. So I'm just wondering, how did Tyler handle all of this with King coming in?
Yeah, I mean, as far as I know, and from talking to some people through back channels, my feeling is he never thought he was going to come in here and start right away. Remember, when he was being recruited here, Darren Williams was a redshirt freshman, Nkosi was a redshirt sophomore, so he knew that he was probably going to have to sit a year or two when he came to Miami, when Danny Enos was the guy recruiting him here. So I think as much as the kid is excited about the fact that the quarterback room has changed, and there's a new coach in there and a system that he feels comfortable with, because the spread, he didn't necessarily play in the spread, but he likes the system, the hurry up. I think he's comfortable with waiting a year and learning. Now, again, I warn you, these aren't blanket statements. We know things can change quickly, and the way college football is, with the way it's trending, where maybe we're going to have this rule in place where everybody gets one get out of jail free card, right, where they can transfer without having to wait. I think it can always change, and I think certainly if you're Miami, and you look at the success that other college football programs have had year to year now, getting a Justin Fields, getting a Jalen Hurts, getting a De'Aaron King, going through the transfer portal is something that a lot of college teams, if they can do it, I think they're going to do it. If you can get a guy who's been taught for 3 years and is ready to really blossom as a senior, I think Miami's always going to have its eye open for that. But that said, I can tell you they like Tyler Van Dyke, and I think one guy that nobody's talking about at all that was kind of impressive today, and I've heard some good things about, is Peyton Matoka. He's a quarterback that was redshirted last year. He was recruited at the end of the 2019 signing class by Darren Enos, and I've heard some positive things about the kid, and he looked good throwing the football today to me. And him and Tyler Van Dyke both look good, and it's encouraging signs for the future. I think when you look at this quarterback position and where it was last year after that FIU game and the way the season ended, everybody was like, oh my God, you got to go out and get help. They obviously did, but I think Tyler Van Dyke and Peyton Matoka are certainly two guys that look like they have the goods and just need to be groomed.
Manny, how about the offensive line? I know that, there's not a ton of hitting going on here, right? I would imagine that It's a little harder to measure the offensive linemen, so I can't look too much into it. Who are the five right now that they're putting in as the first unit?
Well, it's funny. I asked at the end of we got Rhett Lashley today at the end of practice. The last question that I was able to sneak in was a question about his philosophy. Because to me, having done this as long as I have, every coach kind of comes in and they treat the spring differently. When Art Kehoe was around here coaching the offensive line for different coordinators, usually they spent the spring experimenting with guys, moving guys to new positions so that when the fall came around, they would go back to their regular positions, and then if somebody got hurt, you could always flip-flop and do what you have to do. Red's philosophy, from when he answered my question today, was, they want to kind of try to lock guys into spots. So I think, they're not going to really do that till the end of this week. There's 4 practices this week. Today was the second, and they got Thursday and Friday. Thursday and Friday, they'll be in pads. I think he wants to use these next 2 days to really study, which spots these guys are best at, and then try to lock them in there so that between him and Garen Justice, they can build some consistency on that offensive line and some chemistry. That's his philosophy with this. Don't use the spring to mess around just figure out what you're really good at and let those guys build that chemistry. So that's an encouraging sign to me. I like that a little bit more, especially with where this offensive line was last year. Today, the first team offensive line, you had John Campbell at left tackle. Obviously he played some last year. He was basically the first man off the bench. With Navon Donaldson out, Usman Traore was at left guard. And he's a kid that they picked up late in the recruiting process last year. Basically spent the whole year on the scout team developing, but I've heard lots of good things about him. He was a JUCO kid from a year ago. And then, center was coordinator. You had DJ Scaife at right guard, which is where I think they want Scaife in the future at right guard. And then at right tackle, you had Zion Nelson, who was your starting left tackle last year. That was your first unit, and then you had other guys sprinkled in the second unit. Kai Clark, who was a starter last year, was playing some center, he was playing some guard. Jalen Rivers, the big-time recruit that they got in this last recruiting class, he was a backup left guard. You had Zalante Hillary, the kid who came in off the bench last year and looked terrible in that North Carolina game. He was a backup left tackle. So you had guys kind of sprinkled all over the place, just playing spots that they don't normally play. But I think to answer your question in a long, roundabout way, I think after Friday we'll start paying attention and we'll start paying, really looking to see where guys are getting locked in at and getting the most of their reps.
Wide receiver, who are Canes fans going to be seeing catching these footballs?
Well, the three veteran guys that are coming back that have experience and have played in games. You have Mike Harley basically in the slot, and then you got D. Wiggins and Mark Pope on the outside. Those are going to be your three first-team guys. But the second unit is interesting, and something Amari Carter, the fourth senior safety, said today was that the new guys are right there with the old guys. And I'm talking about Xavier Restrepo, the freshman slot receiver, a kid out of Deerfield Beach who reminds me every bit of Braxton Berrios. Really thick kid, catches the ball, is explosive. I think he's going to be a nice addition to this team. And then you got Keyshawn Smith, a kid they got late in the recruiting process, another freshman. He's playing on the outside. He's backing up D. Wiggins. And then Jeremiah Payton, who was a big-time recruit in last year's class. Jeremiah looks like he's put on some weight. He's a bigger kid as well. So those are the six right now that are really getting a lot of work. Zaylen Worsham, another freshman, he looks good as well. They've kind of moved him around at different spots. So, but again, nobody's in pads. Everybody's wearing shorts and helmets, and let's see what happens when they put the pads on and guys start getting hit. It's going to be a different story, I'm sure.
Yeah, no, obviously that's when we start to get a better feel. The guys that are doing the hitting, well, they lost a couple of really important linebackers. McLeod comes back. Who else is in that group that you expect to elevate themselves?
Well, you got Patrick Joyner Jr., who the kid that I think at the end of his freshman year 2 seasons ago was starting to come around. We're starting to say, wow, this guy's, maybe he's the backup middle linebacker once Shaq Quarterman and Michael Pinckney head out of here. And I think right now, on paper, he probably is that guy backing up Zach McLeod in the middle. There's only 4 healthy linebackers this spring. A lot of the other guys are out right now. Wayman Steed, he's had two season-ending injuries. He's working his way back. He wasn't around hitting or doing anything like that today. So you had, some walk-ons, Ryan Ragoni, who's there. Keontra Smith, he's getting a lot of work at the striker position. They moved him from safety inside there. It's really hard right now to talk about linebackers because they're so short-handed. I think in the end, what you want to see this spring is Zach McLeod really make it, sort of his unit where he takes over for Shaq and Pigney and really leads that unit. But eventually, Avery Huff, the redshirt freshman, Sam Brooks, the sophomore, those are the guys that are going to play a ton. And I think Patrick Joyner right now, he's probably the fourth guy when you look at linebacker.
All right, so Manny, when you look at Manny Diaz, okay, and I hear some of his press conferences and sound bites the last couple of weeks and obviously in these last couple of days, it is a more subdued Manny Diaz. It is a humbled Manny Diaz. It's not a brash Manny Diaz that's making all kinds of statements and claims last year. It seems like he kind of learned his lesson and was humbled after the experience of 2020 or 19. I'm sorry.
Yeah, absolutely. And I wrote about that on signing day. Just how, to me, he sounded like a different guy. And I think, it's for Manny Diaz, again, you and I have talked about this so much on the show, right? That the head coach at the University of Miami used to be a general manager, not a rookie. Well, to me, Manny Diaz's rookie season, you cannot say that he didn't learn something from it. He clearly did. And I think that's an encouraging sign when you look at a head coach that, not only do they recognize some of the mistakes they made, but they make changes. And
Yes.
he obviously did that with his offense, immediately getting rid of Dan Enos and his receivers coach and his offensive line coach. But then he did it with the way he carries himself. And I think, it was pretty reflective last year at times that the players, this, you've been doing this a long time, players usually mimic what the head coach says. They repeat many of the things he says in their meetings and the way that they carry themselves. And I think there's no doubt last year that there were times that this football team had a level of arrogance that was undeserved. I mean, they were walking around pounding their chest like they were the Hurricanes of old, when in reality they hadn't done anything. And I think that level of arrogance, Manny Diaz had to have recognized it. I don't know if it was in a conversation with Jimmy Johnson or somebody else pointing it out to him, but I think he realized it. And he knows that he has to be more subdued, and it's about the work on the field. And in the end, that's all that matters. It's the win-loss record. And it matters, what you do every single Saturday. I think he realizes that now, and trying to tap into that swagger, that undeserved swagger, because this program really hasn't done anything for a long time, was dumb. And, I don't think he'll ever come out and admit it, because I asked him about it during the spring. Should you reel it back? Should you, actually not the spring, but at the end of the season, I asked him, should you reel back this sort of arrogance? And he, of course, he wouldn't talk about that. He kind of shoved it off to the side. But in the reality, he acknowledged, hey, we can't be this team that has all the swagger when we go out and lose to FIU and we lose to Louisiana Tech and we can't beat Duke. That to me is only earned with W's, and I think he's acknowledged, and he's acting that way as a head coach now. And it's important, because as much as you want to generate excitement for recruits and everything else, the reality is a lot of these kids, when it comes to recruiting, they pick a program not because of the turnover chain or the hype or any of that stuff. It's because of the relationships that they have with the coaches, and it's because of whether or not they feel like the program is heading in an upward direction. And he looked like a fool last year, banging his chest and talking about the new Miami. And so it looks like he's learned his lesson, and to me, he is the guy that you want him to be in year number 2. Now, will it translate to W's? We'll see. But everything so far, to me, from the end of 2019 to now, it looks to me like Manny Diaz has done everything right. Now it's a matter of, can you get the result that you want on the field?
Yeah, I'm super impressed with, there was no ignorance, there was no blinding. The dude saw exactly what was wrong and really went after it and corrected it. And I can't commend him more on how he's handled the offseason. I'm hoping that it all comes together, because a lot of us wanted him to succeed as it is. But he had to have realized that, man, it looked dysfunctional. It looked like he didn't know what the hell he was doing out there. And that's disturbing. Because I can see when things go wrong, that's one thing. But when it looks like you're doing everything wrong, that's the part it's kind of like the Panthers. Dale Talon talked a really good game, and we heard about everything he did in Chicago and all that. Well, 10 years later, everything he's done has not worked out. And that's kind of what it felt like last year with Manny. Everything he did was wrong. So here's the other thing. I almost feel like you should earn that turnover chain and those touchdown rings, and hell, you should earn running through the smoke, that kind of stuff. I know they're not, but was there any talk of maybe, hey, you know what? Let's get to the point where we deserve to use these props and award you for it, not just award you for it and you're losing by 10 or 20 points in a game, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, It's interesting. I haven't asked them that yet. I'll tell you this: nobody's wearing a U on their helmet. Okay, everything's the white helmets. I don't see
Is that normal?
any names.
Is that normal?
Well, they have at times done that in the past. I remember when Randy Shannon did it years ago. I can't remember every year, man, because it feels like everything runs into each other when you start to try to say, okay, what year was that? But I certainly remember Randy Shannon doing it. I think Al Golden did it for a season. But again, there's been times where the U has been on the helmet. So I don't know. At some point, I'd like to ask Manny about that. We had him yesterday, and none of us brought any of that stuff up because we were so interested in just the start of the spring. But I think as the spring progresses, we got a month before the spring game, April 11th. I'm sure one of us will get a chance to ask him about that. Because, again, I asked him at the end of last season, I basically told him, doesn't it seem ridiculous that you guys are putting on these chains and celebrating all these things when you're 67, And he didn't want to, I guess he didn't want to sort of admit defeat then, like, hey, yeah, you're right, stupid, we shouldn't do this stuff. But clearly he's taken everything that's happened to heart because he's changed his body language, he's changed the way that he is running the program. And to me, like you're right, it just sends a different message to the public, the way that he's talking, the way that he's acting, and the fact that, the kids are echoing his statement. There's no beating of the chest, there's none of this new Miami, this dancing and all that kind of silliness. I think that has dissipated, and I think now everybody's trying to get real serious about the football.
Let's hope we got better days ahead, man. We definitely need it down here. And, of course, you can follow Manny on Twitter at Manny_Navarro. Catch his work there at The Athletic. Catch his Caneswear Miami Hurricanes report every week here at this time. And, of course, you can always podcast it and listen to it whenever you want. Manny, as always, my man, thank you for taking some time. Exceptional segment.
Thank you, brother. Look forward to next week talking to you again.
You got it, baby. Be good. There you go. And, of course, it's brought to you by Caneswear. Go see Brett and all the amazing people out there at Caneswear. 2511 South University Drive in Davie. We broadcast out there every single month. I think we'll be out there on Wednesday the 25th of this month. I think is when we're going to be out there. So looking forward to it. As always, we thank the great folks at Caneswear for being great sponsors of our program. We thank Manny Navarro, as always, and go to Caneswear, Canes_wear on Twitter, 2511 South University Drive. And if you order online, if you order over $99, you will get free shipping at Caneswear.com.
It angers you.